Welcome to Charts Today. My name is David Linton, and today's edition for Thursday, the 22nd of January, comes to you from Sydney. I'm here till next week. I'm in Singapore. I'm seeing clients there and doing a training day with a client there, and then I'm back in the UK for a week, and then off to Germany. So let's take a look at what's going on. US Nat Gas. It's gone from $3.50 to $5.50. Target $3.50 on Monday. Gave a target at $3.50 to $4.50. That was met. A few more targets along the way, and a new target this morning, just even higher. Now, of course, you can use the price targets in your trading view as well. Here's the Nat Gas chart there with the targets on. So it's just the same, but I tend to use Updater, obviously, because I know it very well and I can move around really quickly. And last night, well, in fact, 5 o'clock this morning, which was 6 p.m. last night in London, I gave the diploma module for Ichimoku charts to the Society of Technical Analysts for people doing the diploma. And I thought I today would just share some of that knowledge with you. One of the things that we come across in the diploma is I talk about this idea of time horizon. This was something I put together when I wrote the Cloud Charts book. And basically this idea of daily charts means weeks ahead, and weekly charts we're thinking months ahead, and hourly charts we're thinking days ahead. So what I did last night with the people on the course was I had this at the end, we did some live analysis, and we basically had the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and the 60-minute chart. And if you're above the cloud, you're bullish. If you're below the cloud, you're bearish. And that's the basics of it. There's more to it, but I've only got 10 minutes. Here, this is the very long term, the medium term, the short term. We're thinking years ahead. Here we're thinking months ahead. Here we're thinking weeks ahead, and here we're thinking days ahead. And those of you who read my morning call report will know that I use the 60-minute chart as my roadmap and the 10-minute chart for calling today. So this is the dollar, and basically we could just look at this chart straight away, say bearish long term, just in the range, medium term, bearish short term, and we can just literally run through. One chart that I was looking at this morning is Russian ruble. This is the dollar falling against the ruble, 76 rubles the dollar we're seeing here. That's now bearish dollar, bearish dollar, bearish dollar, bearish dollar. So that's good news for Russia, not good news for the West, and that's another factor. And we can just literally run through all of the currencies. So here we see Indian rupee, long-term dollar strength. So this is one currency that is actually weaker than the dollar. Dollar is buying more rupees, and we can just keep going right through the list. Now, I'm not doing the targets today. This is the South African rand, and I could easily just put the target on the chart. Just press the T key, and it will put the targets on. So that gives me targets for where that's going. You can see these model targets, and I can just clear them off the chart and go back to my template. Taking a look at some of the other things, Bitcoin, again, obviously bullish long term. The very long term we're finding support on the cloud. Medium term we're finding resistance on the cloud, and short term. So Bitcoin, and again we can put the targets on. If we fall to new lows, that's not going to be good news for Bitcoin either. Japanese bond yields, that's had a lot of attention. That really has. And you see here, this is the really big long-term change after 40 years of downtrend, now in an uptrend on yields. Uptrend here as well. Put the targets on the chart. You can see those upside targets were all met. And again, that's where we're going. And if you go down to the shorter term timeframes, you get even more targets still. US 10 yield, again, this has just got a new target to the upside on it, which is a little bit worrying there as well. So I can just put the targets on, but this is again long term. That's a little bit of a consolidation, like a symmetrical triangle, just waiting for the break. And again, this has been a very long-term downtrend. 30-year yields the same. We can look at the German yields. So again, we've got a real consolidation pattern going on here. We break higher. And again, if we look at this long-term chart, just a really clear trend that's gone on for decades. And now we're in a new long-term trend. So, it is worth looking at the very long-term charts quite often just to get that feeling as to what's going on. And of course, we can then go to the indices. So we can look here at the S&P. This is obviously a bullish chart. bar the short term, which is just still struggling. NASDAQ 100 had a little bit of a recovery yesterday. If we look at the daily chart, not enough yet to really activate this upside target. That will turn green with a new high, but we haven't had a high now for nearly 3 months, so that's significant as well. And if we look at the DAX in Germany, again, this is looking bullish, but for the short term, finding some resistance there. The FTSE, we're seeing here, just finding some resistance there as well. And we can literally just keep going right the way through. Looking at the Aussie market, which is where I am at the moment, we see here, again, bullish on the long-term charts, but medium-term, we've got a little bit more work to do. And if we look at China, here we see how that multi-year breakout. Again, this is a really good advantage of looking at long-term monthly charts. We see that breakout occurring there, so that's really quite strong as well. Looking at the tech stocks, Amazon, all these long charts will be very bullish because they've had an amazing run over the years, but we're seeing here, again, failing to make new highs, bearish below the cloud on the short term. Apple, again, breaking below the cloud on the 60-minute, so that's not so good. That's thinking coming weeks. We can always put the short-term targets on as well. We can see how the upside one was met, the downside ones were met. So, just really key. You can put them on any chart. I'm running on LSEG Workspace here. You can run this on Metastock, Bloomberg, Tradeport, whatever you want to run on, over 30 different feeds. And you can get the targets on your Bloomberg as well if you want to just use them on Bloomberg. The other one, of course, is NVIDIA. We talk about NVIDIA quite a lot. I did cover that in a session. If you want to do this time horizon, you can find it on the, this is my LSEG, you can find it on the Updata website under Resources. LSEG time horizon was the very first one I did. And when we look at my big course of 2026, that's where I did NVIDIA. You can watch those videos there, free, and it'll just help you understand this concept of time horizon. Really, really important. There's also a session on Ichimoku there as well. So NVIDIA, we can see here we've got a downside target and an upside one not yet activated. Will turn green with a new high. A move below 170 for NVIDIA will be bad news. So that's quite key. We can start looking at just some of the other things like metals, aluminium. That's been a real show lately, just pushing to new highs, testing that 2021 high again. The monthly chart really highlights that. You may not see it on the shorter term charts. Running higher, bullish, 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 just heading into a bit of consolidation in the short term. And if we look at other products like zinc, we can see here that's been pushing higher as well. Lithium was my call in that 2026. It's up 80% already this year, crossing the cloud on the weekly and on the daily. So that's looking more bullish as well. Gold, obviously bullish on all time frames. This is the monthly, the weekly, the daily, and the 60-minute chart, all bullish. So the key thing is when that happens, you give that a top score. So if we look here, this is my ranking, which I've been working on with a client lately. Bullish, bullish, bullish. On weekly, daily, and 60-minute, that's a 6. And if it's bearish, 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 that's a -6. And neutral is 6. And there's a whole load of possibilities in between. 27 different possibilities in terms of bullishness if you're looking at the 3 time frames. Silver, no big surprises there. Platinum, this is really looking, and again, this is a triangle breakout there happening on platinum. So really quite key. New upside target there. Just press the T key on any chart. That's looking really bullish. And that's going to be quite key as well. And I'll just take a look at some soft commodities. Sugar, I was working with the sugar trading team last month, and here we can see the picture. We've got waiting for a break there on the 60-minute, and on the daily, I can do the targets, which are longer term, these are medium term targets, and you can see again we're waiting to see if we activate downside target. That's it for today. Do watch the videos, they will help you, and until tomorrow, happy charting, bye for now.